Yeah, we talked about structure. You talked about structure. You talked about having sporting facilities and then affiliation. What other things do we need to like incorporate for these clubs to run properly?
Like I mentioned earlier, there is need for us, for most of this academy, to get affiliated with the state FA.
Yes.
And of course, good training facility is also a measure, but unfortunately we don't really have sporting facilities, and we want to encourage our FA or every state to think in that direction of creating sporting facilities, at least to every community, so that every kid from anywhere, can have access to a sporting facilities. And that will help most of those academies too to be properly structured in terms of developing these young players. Then part of what I'm also saying regarding structure is most of these things cannot be done by the NFF themselves, and that's why they have the state FAs. So I think there is need for them to give more responsibilities, to the state FAs, because if they do, this will help to identify most of those academies. And even if we look at the academies from the inside of every community that might not have proper sporting facilities, and still they are discovering players from there. If we discover players from such hood, so to say, and they come to an academy that is well structured, that is affiliated, there should be a set of rules that can help them to at least enjoy little dividend. And this is part of what I think should be added to the structure. So if all those things are in place, it becomes easier for every academy to identify player and to know the right path to follow. And the issue of the affiliation is for them to be recognized. And when you are recognized, it becomes easier for you to get involved in either the states league, the Division 1, Division 2. So and when you have this privilege, then you'll be rest assured that your player can be discovered either via the national under 15, under 17. And these are the structures that I am talking of. If we have all these things in place, it becomes even much easier for the FA. If, for instance, if we are looking for the national under 17 players now, instead of just bringing players from everywhere, you already have teams from every state. You can watch the winners of, maybe let's say the winners of the states league that are young. You can bring the best player from all the states together, thereby reducing the number of players that you just bring for a coach to check.
Especially what's happening with Manu now.
Do you understand? Yeah. So if all these things are in place, like I said, it becomes much easier for the state, for the FA, and for the country as a whole. I hope you understand. There are still some other measures that can still be put in place, but these are just minor things that I think we can solve if all those things are being followed properly.
Okay, there have been criticisms concerning Nigerian Premier League clubs that most of them don't have academies to start with. And ideally, if you're going to be participating in the league, you ought to have such. There should be regulations and rules that these teams abide by. But I've always wondered, is there kind of like a separation between an academy playing in a league, as in kind of like separation for academies having their own league and then clubs to having their own league? I don't know if there's any kind of like, should I say, plan or for structures or something like that to like happen.
Yes. I think our NFF too, they are beginning to get it right. Rome was not built in a day.
Yeah.
Exactly what you said. These are normal standard structures in Europe that every club have an academy from youth 5 to the main team. Do you understand? So, and I think this is what our NFF are trying to do now by enforcing most of these clubs to have, academy. But what happens to other academies that doesn't have NPFL team?
State teams.
Do you understand? So this is where collaboration can come in as well. Some teams are already tapping into this. I can mention some, but I won't. Some teams are already, for instance, some NPFL team that doesn't have academy, and they know of a good academy in their state. They bring them, and those academy represent them in the academy league, which for me is not bad. But there should be a proper synergy between them. It shouldn't be a kind of we are helping you. No, it's a win-win team because you are also being known through the exploit of this academy. So what I'm trying to say in that regard is, in the long run, football is business. If some of these players that are discovered from this academy made it to limelight, there should be some dividend that the academy should enjoy as well, so that for other academies can be encouraged to work with some of these NPFL. And if we have this academy league well structured, it will be easier for players to integrate also to the NPFL and to integrate into various national teams that we have as well. So these are my own take regarding that. I don't know if you get it right.
Yes, I do.
So that means the way for us to also help these young guys is just like what we have been insisting on the platform. We must be able to have maybe a national under 17 league starting from the states. That's to make it seamless and
we
easier.
Have them.
But had they existing?
No, now is existing. Last year we saw Remo the Beyond Limit.
Yes.
We saw Midas Palace from Jos, who is now acting as the Academy of Plateau United. We saw them, and so many young players were discovered. If you check our national under 17 or under 15, most of these players are taken from some of these academies that plays from that league. Okay. So what I think is important is for us to sustain it, to make it more, to be more effective, so that people can really understand that we have, and of course, we must have people that have the knowledge of running an academy to take the lead. Because if we are playing an academy league and you are bringing a player that is already playing in the NPFL, maybe he's not making the first team, you now deploy him to come and no, that's not the right way to do it. The academy league should be strictly meant for younger players, so that this younger player can integrate either to the NPFL team, either to the national under 17, under 20, under 23, or to the main team.
Okay, now I have one last question regarding this whole academy thing. My question is regarding technology now. We know how the world is advancing with technology. Even sports generally, football generally around the world is evolving with technology. How much of technology is really involved in Nigerian football in terms of data, in terms of statistics, all those things, to kind of like aid in identifying players, their qualities, or should I say even for scouting purposes?
Well, it's quite unfortunate that we are far behind, in terms of technology, data, and every other aspect that is helping the football game, elsewhere. But I can tell you, a lot of people are beginning to step in that direction now. If you look at this team in Lagos, this new team in Lagos.
Sporting Lagos?
Sporting Lagos. If you go and see what they are doing in terms of technology, you'll be amazed. And I think we need a lot of private stakeholders to come in, because a lot of the private stakeholders have the knowledge of almost everything that we have mentioned. But our FA, we have people there that have that knowledge, but they are not, unfortunately, I can say they are not working in line as things improve or
evolve.
So there is need for our FA to also tap into this opportunity to bring people that have this knowledge that can help skyrocket the growth of football when it comes to the technology, the data aspect of it, and get more people involved. And of course, one of the challenges we have why people doesn't really want to get themselves involved is they are spending. What are they getting back? You know? So, and for me, I always think in that regard, when people want to give you money, they're also thinking, what are they getting in return? So we must also
problem
find
we have.
that means. Those means are there.
No free thing in Freetown.
Exactly. So there are different ways that we can get some of them. There are many Nigerians that truly want to support.
Okay.
But you don't support things that you see as waste of money. So if you see it as investment, you will definitely want to put your money. But when you don't see it that way, then you don't want to put your money. But even if you're putting your money, you are not expecting much. You are also expecting something that will excite you. And if you are not getting those things, so this still goes back to our FA to find a proper means that can encourage people to want to come in,
Private
to want to partner, you know. And I can tell you, football, as we all know, is a big business. But unfortunately,
I don't think our FA knows yet.
No, they know. They know because some of them are making a whole lot from it. Even if not from club football, you know, at least for them working under the FA, moving around the globe, you know what that means for some of them. So it's a big business. Do you understand? So I just hope that our FA can tap into those opportunities and enlighten people to see why they need to invest in it. And when people see the reason why they need to invest in it, they will definitely do, and it will be a win-win situation for everybody.
Wonderful one. So you transitioned from Ebede to Denmark through the help of Barrister Churchill. Tell us life in Denmark, because then it was on the news that you had the highest transfer.
That was Groningen. That was Groningen.
That was Groningen.
Yeah, leaving Midtjylland to Groningen.
To Groningen. So tell us about your transition, the challenges you faced in Europe, life in Europe.
The transition was a bit difficult in the beginning, you know, but I don't see it that way because every player always dream.
Yes.
To travel out and start, you know, real professional football. So for me, it was a dream come true, you know. I haven't played a whole lot in my home country, and moving abroad was a dream come true. But of course, the challenge then for me was, you know, living a country where you're used to warm and moving to another environment where everything just suddenly changed. You know, at some point I will be like, that there is fridge everywhere. Why is it that I'm getting cold if I, you know? So after a while, I managed to acclimatize, but it was tough in the beginning. Going to training, when you wear your football boots, everything gets freeze. At some point, you can't even feel your leg and you have to run. So it was difficult. And this can also affect your performance. Going, you know, so at some point, they might look like, this is not the player I saw while I was in Africa. How come you are not showing, you know, but I was privileged that it wasn't my own story. We were actually three, and I was the only one that was picked.
Who do you care to mention?
Yes, of course, there is additional Lawal, you know, and he managed to play also to some level. And Adebisi Familusi, unfortunately, he could not. That was just it, you know. So, and this BC happens to be our captain then back in Ebede. It was good, but for one reason or the other, they didn't pick him, you know. So, like I said, I was privileged, you know. And after signing with them, I acclimatized, you know, quickly, because if I don't, I might be kicked out as well. So, I had to push myself irrespective of the challenges. Of course, there is food challenges as well, communication challenges.
Everybody has been mentioning food. We had the no side gear, but one of the things he faced was food. I say, bros, now food now. You they make money now. Is there no African?
don't eat well, it will affect you.
Is there no African? Just find one place where you go load yourself.
But you know, in the beginning, you don't know anywhere. You don't know people. You don't know where you can get those things. Some of where you can get those things might be far from your city. So, like for me, the city where I live was strictly it's pure white city. So you don't even have many Africans. Not to talk of getting African food. So, but for me, Churchill play a whole role in my
making you
know, because then he would tell me, hey Femi, you know where you're coming from. If you don't like the food, add salt to it. At least let the salt give you a taste.
African feel,
you know, so these are, you know, it was difficult, you know, some food that you've never tasted before. You know, so but I have always been like that. Even back home, I'm always open to different
new
and
things.
I always try to adapt very quickly. So this helped me, you know. So I always remember, Femi, make sure you eat well. No excuse when you're training. Because some players have those excuses.
Yeah.
When they give them food, they won't eat it. They want to eat their own. And you cannot get exactly what you are used to. So you have to get used to other things so that you can adapt very quickly to their system as well. So these were a few challenges for me. But for me, I managed to quickly overcome, and it helps me going forward.
Did you face any resistance within the team? Maybe
Yes.
from players or coaches or people
Yes, yes, of course. You always feel that because you know what it means. If you're coming from Africa to come and take a spot in a team where they have all their players, their children. So if you don't have that extra thing, I can tell you, you can't pick it.
So what's the extra thing you must have?
There is a lot. You know, I am coming from Africa. In my position, I have to be aggressive. I have to be the ball winner. I have to be the link between the attacker and the defender. So there is more that I need to do.
Okay.
So, and I understand those things, which help me to, you know, put it into action. And doing that, even at some point, they will still prefer to play their own player. For instance, they have a national player who is playing in your position. Do you think it will be easier for them to just let him sit on the bench for you that you're coming? And the monetary aspect is also there. Some of them don't want to see your hand more than them. These were part of what I faced while I was playing. Some will be like your friend, but behind. So, but I never thought about all those things while I was new. But it was later, you know, I start having those feelings. But in my mind, I always have it that no matter what, I have to succeed. I don't have any excuse. I've been privileged. You have picked me, and my inclusion should be justified.
Yes.
So those are my own words for myself. That really helps me to overcome those challenges.
Okay. Atu?
So after Midland, you transitioned to Groningen, and you were the highest, you were most expensive player at the time for the club. What was the experience settling into another country? I know that we Nigerians over the years have had good times in the Netherlands, but for you, what was the experience like?
It was a massive experience, you know, and again, it was a dream come true for me because, you know, playing in Denmark is also different from playing in Holland or in England or in Spain. Playing in those countries, you know, they have their own style of play, they have their own differences. And every country have their own pride. Like, if you're playing here, you are the best. If you're playing here, you are the best in this. You know, so for me, leaving Denmark was big because I think I was at my best then in Denmark. And a lot of teams, you know, came knocking, and it makes it easier for Midland to say, if you can't pay this amount, we are not letting him go. And of course, I feel very proud, you know, because I believe they have done much. They have spent more on me, and of course, they deserve to earn more as well. So, for Ebede, it was a big one because they were very proud, and I think this was part of the beginning of the trust they had in Ebede that truly they can go to Africa
And pick
get
players.
even more better player, which they did, and it paid off. So, but like I said, it was a dream come true for me to transit from Denmark to the Netherlands. You know, the record signing was big. I didn't even thought about it in the beginning. I was just happy that I want to move to a better place. But of course, there is this adage that says, to whom much is given, much is also expected. You know, for me, I didn't think in that direction. I was just happy that I am moving to another place where I will play with bigger players again. I will develop myself. That was just it for me. So I never knew that much too is also expected of me. So no, for me, I just want to go there. At every point in time, I want to give my best. So when I got there, I now discovered that, hey, much is expected of you, because I discovered that probably I was earning more than almost all the players. And when we are playing, a lot of responsibility
was given to you.
You know, was given to me. So until I realized it, even from the media, from everybody, people that comes to watch, they say, I earn more, you should do more. You know, forgetting that my role is to do this, to do that. But later I get to understand that truly, if much is given to you, you should do more on the field. And that quickly helped me. So my first 2 years there was fantastic. I was playing every games, doing well, attract other clubs. But then there was a clause on me because of what they have given. So the clause was very high, which made it a bit difficult for other teams to, you know, as a midfielder then, and they put a clause of 17 to 20 million euros.
From 3 million? From
3.5 to 4.
Wow.
Do you know, people will not understand. Wow. So it was really big. So if a team had to buy you for that amount, then you must either be Messi. Do you understand the picture now? So it was tough. So, but like I said, I wasn't feeling it then. But after my second year, I also want to move because I feel I've done well. Now I need to move to a place where I can even earn more and maybe a better league. And of course, there were opportunities, but the cost was a little bit high, so which made it a bit difficult. And it was even that period I was even playing at the national level. Playing at the national level is always big for you, especially in the midst of your colleagues in the team. So it was big, everything was good. But unfortunately, the right move were not coming because of this
clause that was there.
And of course, I had to do my best, which I did for the team. But unfortunately, injury set in while representing the country. And of course, injury will always be every player's enemy. So, and after the injury, things were not as smooth as I hoped for. But I managed to get back when I moved to Bromby, you know, and coming back again was not the same. So, but in all, it was a memorable time for me.
Okay, your time in Groningen, you played with Dusan Tadic, you played with Daley Blind, and you played with Virgil van Dijk. In your time there, which of these three players will you say, okay, you saw potential for these three players to get to the levels they got to?
To be honest, it was Tadic. Okay. Because he was one of the best in the team as at then. I remember him making assist for me, you know, score. He's a very fantastic player. He was very good. But for Van Dijk then, Van Dijk plays in our second team. He was not even part of the first team. It was later that he was graduated to the main team. You know, as one, I think I mentioned one story to you then. You
can also say it now.
I used to take him to training because he was 18. He doesn't even have a driver's license. Yes. I used to take him to training then. He was living just behind me then. And of course, we had good time together. He was a very good player, fantastic guy to play with. So we just had fun. You know, he was like African. He has this African mentality. And for many of us, the Brazilians in the team, we come together because we see ourselves as brothers, you know. So for him, we had I had a fantastic time with him. But at the same time, I knew he was going to be good. But I never knew he was going to be this big, you know. But I knew he was going to be good. At some point, I remember I mentioned him to one agent that was trying to manage me then in England, you know, because then, as a young player, he has fantastic qualities. He's very good in the air. He's very good with the ball. He
feet.
never loses ball. You can still see that even in Liverpool. He never loses ball anyhow. And he goes hard when it comes to man marking. You know, so but after a while he was graduated to the main team. We quickly embraced him because we liked him. Each time they bring him to train with us, we have always liked him. So he has that great potential that can attract everything. But I never see him
that will be big
among the top 3.
Right now.
The player that I've always think he can make it to that highest level is Tadish.
Okay.
And of course he played in the same team with Van Dijk in Southampton.
Yes.
He played in
Ajax. He played in
Ajax when he left.
He did well in Ajax.
He did so well in Ajax, of course. So he's a very good player. He was a very good player then. You know, but for Daley Blind, we see him like although he was young too then, playing with us, he's very clever, very technical, but he's not physical. That is one thing we all know then. But he managed to play in Man U and he did well. So for me,
he played in Ajax too.
Yeah, he came from Ajax to Groningen. He wasn't playing regularly in Ajax, but I think Groningen really helped him because when he left Groningen, then he was just like Joe. So you know, in Groningen, he played with a lot of, I would say, black players. They were very hard to beat.
Give him bamboo.
I think that helped him. But you know, out of these 3, I've thought Tadish because Tadish was very good. Tadish was like Messi when we played together. He's very strong. One of the white players that is difficult to get the ball easily from him. You know, so he was one. And of course, Van Dijk, no doubt, there is a very good player, but I never think he will. You know, but luckily and with hard work that he has put into it, he managed to. Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the Olympics. I've been dying to ask this question. You guys did well in 2008 Olympics. Let me first give you guys your flowers.
Yes.
You guys were wonderful. You made us proud as Nigerians, and we're so proud of you guys because you guys had a solid team.
The football people played that year.
You guys played ball.
I've not seen that kind of football till today.
I think that's one of the reasons why we give Samson CICI his flowers. That man is a good.
No, he's an identifier of talent. He also has a visionary way of playing football.
But sir, please, as a fan, what went wrong? We wanted you guys to beat Argentina. What went wrong in 2008? Despite you guys one wonderful run to the final.
It's quite unfortunate, you know. One thing you must know is for us as players, we always want to win every game. And that final, for me, I never believed that we're going to lose it because we have this bond within us that we will conquer any team that we played against. And for me, personally, on that day, while singing the national anthem, I said, this is just the hour that we have been waiting for. This is time to, you know, also take revenge. You know, losing to them in 2005. So, for me, I just see us winning. You know, but unfortunately, sometimes this general adage, man proposes, God disposes, or something. That is just what I can say. And of course, another thing is, you know, in football, if you don't score, you never win. For me, that was just the difference. We had more than 3 opportunities, you know, to score, but we couldn't convert those opportunities. They had a big one opportunity, they converted it, and I think that made the difference. But it was a very painful scene for us losing to them, you know, at that big stage, because we have had that dream of bringing that glory to our country.
You did mention recently when I made a post about the performance you guys had against Japan. In the comment section, you made something about that the promises made to your set has not been redeemed till date. Please tell us more. What was that promise? Because I do know that during that period, whenever the Super Eagles or the under-17s or the under-23s, they go for all this competition and they get to the final or they win it, they always reward them with something.
So I'm happy you mentioned this. I've been I've been looking for an opportunity, to also raise it to the minister. Recently I had the opportunity of mentioning some of these things. Like you rightly said, whenever any national team gets to the final of any tournament, winning the gold or bronze, there is always a reward. And of course, for us then, I remember the then president calling us. We had a conference call with him, promising that our house key is even ready, that of course, maybe because of the clause that he made, he said, if we come back with the gold, our house key is already here. But unfortunately, we couldn't win the gold. But still, we managed to. It's not easy to
get silver.
To get silver at the Olympic. For me, after the World Cup, Olympic is the next.
Yes.
Because it's more like the World Cup, because it's countries from all over
the world,
all over the continent. So it was a big one, and of course, we expect that we should be rewarded as well. People call us MON, but let me tell you today, they didn't confer us to that honor, and it's painful sometimes, even though we get those accolades from people, calling us MON, this and that. But I think it's important that the FG look into it and see how they can redeem some of those things. Part of the promise, even if they don't give us the structure, the house, at least half of it, some of us, we appreciate it.
Yeah.
Maybe then, because we were still active, we didn't think about it.
You guys just went.
But still, it's important, because this will also encourage. Look at the Nations Cup. That is how it should be. They did well, even though Nigerians were not too satisfied with their playing style. But we must commend them, because they do the nation proud. And the Mr. President did the needful. And every other players now aspiring to play for the country is dreaming, to represent and to represent well. If we can have this kind of gesture. So, and we are not an exception. We are Nigerians as well.
Yeah.
The last times, the set of 96 or 94 that were promised, they redeemed their promise.
After how many years?
After
20 years.
I am appealing on behalf of the team.
Redeemed their promise.
Most of them have called me when they saw this post too, that it's important we convey this message to either the minister or the people that need to hear it. If they can look into it, we've done our best. We did our best to do our country proud. If the IOC can acknowledge our performance, how come
the Nigerian government cannot?
People cannot,
So this is a call out. I beg, please, FG, as he has mentioned.
Yeah, we are appealing.
We are appealing
to look into it.
Let's redeem the promise made. So finally, what do you do now after the injury? It's a painful thing that you got injured during the national team. But what do you do now after your
retirement?
Yes, what do you do now?
Yeah, I will start from the injury side. After I was injured, I eventually got back.
Okay.
I eventually got back, and that was when I played again at Osweekending in Germany and Middelfart, though not a very big team. And these are some of what you get when you're injured and you didn't quickly recover. Your market value drops. But then I said to myself that I don't want to stop when I break leg. So it's important that even while I was still LD, and at least I've managed to play over 15 years professionally. So I said I still need my body to do other things. So and before I retired, I've always had this plan of setting up an academy. Myself and Makiwa, we started back in Lagos. We had an academy, and I can tell you we have moved about 4 or 5 players. Though 2 were able to
stay and they are playing now.
And they are still playing,
Okay.
So, but unfortunately, other things came up that we had to restructure the academy. So, and after then, I now thought of the Grassroot, which is what I am doing at the moment.
Okay.
I've always think of the younger lads.
Okay.
And when I retired, I discovered there were not so many platforms for these younger kids to start football, especially at their tender age. And that's was the motivation factor for me to start up the FAFC, that we are seeing today in Abuja.
That's the Femi Ajilore.
The Femi Ajilore Football Clinic.
Okay.
So the idea is to train these kids the rudiment and the basics of the game, and also to discourage age discrepancy. And as part of what I am also doing, I initiated the Kids Soccer League with the help of my other friends. And I don't know if you have been following it. This is our 3rd year.
Okay.
It has been very good. The kids, have been playing, and we do it in such a way that this kid will be exposed to different venues. And now it goes beyond the kids, because I can tell you a lot of the parents are enjoying it as well, because they are the one bringing these kids. And we have encouraged them to always come and support them when they play games. And I can tell you, whenever those kids have away games, they go all out to follow them, because on the final day, if their kids happen to be amongst the winner, we also celebrate them, because they come forward and enjoy everything that they have put in for their kids as well. So it's quite unfortunate that we are here to attract sponsors, but we are doing our best to encourage children football and their active participation in sports, and of course to discourage age cheat.
So you sponsor this yourself? You spend all the money? I've been there. I came to your training.
With the support of some few friends
too.
And parents, yes.
So this I want to say it's a wonderful thing, because I've been able to see a little bit of what you do on Instagram. And I was there for your training at Zone 5 in Abuja. And I could see the number of kids are happy, and their parents also being there. So this is also a call out to people. I beg, Ejo, please, we need support for because you are doing a lot. Because I see those young guys on the lowest is on the 7 or 8.
On the 5.
On the 5. You have, yes, I saw them. They're small boys. They're so happy, and you're training them, putting them through their.
The beauty of it, and what we are enjoying now, is a lot of other academies now are
coming up. True.
And once we have the league, many academies want to engage, because it's a way of also engaging those kids, not just training them, but expose them to real game. And the real exposure is what they are getting, because they are playing at different venues. They are not used to their comfort zone alone. And these are things that will help them develop, in a quick way as well. And if they develop in a quick way, tomorrow they are 17 and they already know all those things, then they are good to go.
True.
And I am looking forward to see some of them in the nearest future representing our national team.
Amen. I pray that happens. Before we would love to have you back on the session, but before we go, I will just ask you some few questions. We have a game that we play on the podcast, so I'll just ask you some few questions. Where should I start from? Best team player, national team player that you played with.
There are many of them.
No, just give us like the ones that you say that this guy is good though. This guy is exceptional one that you played with.
At the national level.
Yes.
It's difficult to say.
Just mention mention your best two. Best two. No preferential treatment though.
Yeah. The name I will mention, you will be surprised anyway.
Okay, let's see.
Obinna.
Wow.
Yeah. As at that time, among the few defenders that we have, no ill feelings. For me, he's very good with the ball. He's very strong. He's a player you can always have confidence to give the ball behind. That you're sure that he won't lose the ball.
Yes.
And he won't just kick it. So on that note, I
Who
think
else?
it's one.
Okay, one. Who else?
Obinna.
Yeah.
And I will say Obinna and Sofo.
Sofo.
I will say
that's your guy now.
You know, we have many great players, like I said, in our team. You know, when you look at Osazi Odewenge, Victor Anichebe, Chinedu Obasi, Bafemi Martins, Yakubu. You know, but one thing I like about Nsofo is he's very, very good conscious. And he's a player you can rely on that can shoot with both legs. If you remember in one of our games in the Olympics, one of the assists I made, it was a perfect goal for him. I gave him the ball, he caught the defender because you know he can shoot with his left foot.
Can also shoot.
So the whole defender thought he was going to shoot with his left foot. He caught and
hits with
the right. Not only that, if you have seen some other goals at the national level, he scored. He's quite unfortunate that he didn't get to play maybe longer as expected, you know, at the national level. But for me, he can have it.
Okay. Your toughest opponent?
My toughest opponent in Europe is Tobias Lindrup. He was the former captain of FC Copenhagen. And you know, when Midtjylland and Copenhagen plays, he's always he's one of the best then, before I came on board.
Alvin, are you not shocked?
I'm shocked.
I was expecting Messi in my mind.
No. At you know, I'm just saying this at club level now.
Okay, let's say national team. Your toughest.
Not even national team.
Generally, I would say Messi.
You're thinking about it too. What's going on? You're thinking
because
about
I have
it.
to look. The way I am looking at it is those that I've played against, and how easy or how difficult it feels playing against them.
Okay.
You know, I played against Van Bommel too was one when he was in PSV. He was a very strong Van Bommel. You know Van Bommel.
No, I know Van Bommel.
Presently the coach of in Belgium.
So I think Belgium.
Yeah. So, but for me, Messi, I would say Messi because trying to get the ball from him is always difficult. You know, when you think you are taking the ball, he's already moving again. So if you fall easily, you are gone.
You're gonna.
So
you're gonna.
I'll give it to him.
Even though you only played against him once.
Yes, but that was 90 minutes.
Oh, Messi,
you know what it feels? Running almost every seconds, the whole of your 90 minutes. Because you always have to know where he is. You always try to cover the space where they can pass to him. So if you don't do that, maybe it would have been more. You know, because when any slight opportunity this guy
exploit it.
He will exploit it. So
okay, let's go to the final. So I'm going to be listing some players for you. I just need you to pick the big in between that you have known. So I will start with now I know you like Messi. So but if I say Messi or Ronaldo, pick one.
Messi.
Thank you. Rashidi or Osimhen? Baba, the thing come.
Yeah.
Osimhen.
Here we go again.
I know.
Another Osimhen fan. Sunday Olise or Ndidi?
Olise.
Somebody, something. Taribo or Yobo?
Taribo, of course.
Why? Because you played in his academy, right?
No. Aside that,
okay,
the level is different. You know? No disrespect. I play with Yobo. He's a very good player. He played in Everton. He had a fantastic run. You know, but Taribo, the level is so different. Playing against the likes of Ronaldo, Recoba, and you know, seeing him doing this was big, really, really big. And in his time, even at national level, you can see the way he plays. Plays with passion. If you watch Nigerian, Denmark, marking and blood coming out. So.
And just Sweden, 2002.
Taribo West, of course.
Mikel or JJ?
JJ.
Okay, if you had to pick a player for your own team, and you are left in between Kanu or JJ, who will you pick? I don't they cause problem.
I will pick Kanu.
Why? In short, just in brief, just why? Just mention a quality or two qualities that you that
Kanu is more purposeful. JJ is an entertainer.
Oh, that's
fair
nice.
enough.
Okay, so let's pick your top 5. Give us your top 5 legends that have gone from the grassroots and have made it. Top 5. Let's say you are picking a 5-a-side team.
For every position.
For every position, from the goalkeeper, the defender. Let's say you are doing apart from the goalkeeper, you are playing a 2-2-1. So your top 2 in defense, top 2 in midfield, and your attack, and the keeper. So let's start with goalkeeper.
Eyama.
Okay, the 2 in defense.
Maybe wait. Taribo Nwaneri.
Okay.
Taribo and Nwaneri. Okay, midfield too. Aside yourself, let's say you are the coach.
Okay. In the midfield.
Yeah.
Ulisse JJ.
Ulisse and JJ. So top. Who tops? Who scores you goals?
Osibia and Victor.
No, just one. Give me one. Just one now. Is it because you played it? Open and suffer.
Okay.
What do you think about this top 5?
Lita. Lita.
The Lita, right? Taribo and Nwaneri. Enyama. That Enyama is solid.
Solid.
But me, I know they take Enyama. JJ and Ulisse are strong. Ulisse go they do the dirty work. JJ go just entertain us, but Baba is good. We know on his good day, JJ is JJ. That will suffer. I have my reserve, but because you played with him, so I won't take that from you. So
you can share with me.
No. Suffer is good. So I have my reserve. So before we go, thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Femi Ajilore. We want to appreciate you for coming. We would love to have you again, especially for your academy and what you are doing in FAFC. So this is a call out to parents and everybody out there. Please, if you have somewhere that you want to take your kids to, FAFC is there for you. Your current address, please, before you go.
Jabi Utaku Eden Garden training.
Okay. But if you want to reach out to him, please, you can reach out to us. We also link you.
And how many days you train in a week?
At the moment, twice, Fridays and Saturday, because we expect that these young lads goes to school. And Friday because it close early. And Saturday weekend.
Okay. So final words before we go. Final words. Any final words?
Thank you for having me. You guys are doing a great work, an amazing one, and honored to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Azu, final words for him or for the people watching?
It's a pleasure being here today. Like I said, it's a chilly Friday, and we've had a very chilled and grilling conversation, insightful conversation actually. And we hope to do this same time next week
next session.
Next session.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Mr. Femi Ajilore, for joining us. It has been a wonderful one. We've heard some very interesting things. We'd love to have you again. We wish you all the best. I want to thank you so much for what you are doing for the young boys and girls, because I was there, just like I said the other time. So thank you so much, everybody. From us that is on the set, we say thank you. From our guys at the back end, they want to say thank you. Choma came to join us today, so we are not allow you to show your face. Eddie is here also. So thank you so much. Please stay tuned. SLUM2STARDOM will be back. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Everybody.